He's Matt Bortner. I'm Zach Seyko. Thanks so much for joining us on PA Prep Sports Breakdown, the show devoted to all things high school sports in Pennsylvania and beyond. Matt filling in for Jason Lord today. And joining us on the phones, we now welcome in Bob Greenburg of WLLF in Mercer County, Sports Radio 96.7. Bob, thanks so much for joining us on the show to talk NIL and the PIAA.
I appreciate the invitation, Zach and Matt. You guys are doing a great job. So it's an interesting time, to say the least, here in Pennsylvania.
Interesting. I'd say interesting is wow.
Yeah, there's really no other way to put it. Wow. So to begin with all of this, we thought this was just going to be relegated to college athletics, but now we're really pushing the boundary of what is even amateurism in sports anymore. Can you walk us through what the PIAA is thinking about this? I know there's other states that are implementing NIL policies via legislation. So what is the PIAA trying to accomplish with all of this around NIL?
I think the first thing is the PIAA, which is somewhat surprising to me. They're being proactive because historically, and I've been critical of them of being reactive to a lot of different issues, but they have seen what's happened, at least on the college level, and then now they have seen multiple states. I think it was up to 9 states now that or state high school associations that have approved NILs, or at least moving that way. And from their reaction after their meeting last Wednesday, basically saying that they wanted to be able to dictate this train going down these tracks, basically not wanting to be forced to do it by either some type of legal issues or a lawsuit. So I think from their perspective, they wanted to start the train and be able to control the train. And at least from this first meeting and the first bit of information has come out, they feel like that's the right way to go.
In terms of, yes, they're getting out in front of this, and that's what you said is surprising to a lot of things we've seen with the PIAA and how they've not, I guess, been in touch with some of the times and the evolutions of high school athletics. But what would be the likeliness that Pennsylvania legislation, I don't know if you have any idea, if anybody in the PIAA has spoken about, what would be the likeliness that the Pennsylvania legislation would go forward with this? Or is it with PA legislation too? Are they looking to see how it goes in other states that have already gone forward?
My best guess is that if the PIAA approves this on 3 readings, and then they will discuss, or at least they'll connect with the leaders in the state legislature, I think it will pass. I don't know why other states are doing it. It's being done in Pennsylvania for college athletics. So my guess is that if the PIAA officially approves it, it will only be a matter of time before it's official here for everybody to do it in Pennsylvania.
He's Matt Bortner filling in for Jason Lord. I'm Zach Seyko. Bob Greenburg joining us on the line to discuss the PIAA's decision to formulate an NIL policy, and especially once the Pennsylvania legislature moves forward with it, because this is just a placeholder for now until the Pennsylvania government decides to enact any legislation, and it sounds like it will be. I see a lot of disadvantages from all of this because, at least in my book, and Matt and I were discussing this in the segment before we welcomed you on, Bob, was I just see outside money from states. So let me just bring up an example here, and I'll say Miami of Florida again, just because of the way they try to recruit. They've had the boosters do this for a long time, even before NIL. So is there a chance that Miami of Florida could come in and say, we want this recruit from Pennsylvania, we're going to give you a house and a car and money even before you commit to us? Is that a possibility?
I think what we've seen right now is everything is on the table, and that's been one of my concerns because we've already seen at the college level that there's really no way to police it. There's nobody policing it, and my other concern with some of the PIAA language is they want to keep it out of the schools. They don't want the schools involved, the coaches involved, the administrators involved. So who is going to oversee this for the benefit of a 16-year-old high school student athlete? Is it going to be their parents? And not every parent has the wherewithal to handle some type of contractual situation like this would be. There's a lot of questions and concerns. The thing that's interesting to me, guys, is that after this story broke, the reaction that I've received on social media and even talking to some coaches and athletes, the athletes are very excited about it, but the adults, as in coaches and administrators and even businesses that I've talked to or communicated with, they don't seem too excited about it. So it's kind of a split discussion now. I don't know if this will eventually pass. That's the interesting part. PIAA said they wanted to get out in front of everybody, but at least the reaction right now from the schools and the administrators, I don't know if they want this. So will it pass? We don't know, but at least the reaction is it hasn't been extremely 100% positive from the administrators and the schools themselves.
I think the other interesting thing to take into consideration here, and I want to know your opinion or if you've heard other people with this same opinion, is that at the high school level, I just feel like there's such a smaller percentage of those athletes that this would be a positive for compared to the negative consequences for a bigger percentage in terms of just the high school level. The amount of superstar athletes it's just not in comparison with the amount of athletes in high school who just want to grow up. They want to play sports. They want to,
amateurism.
Yeah, amateurism. I think that's where the line of it's totally different where we've seen at the college level where it is a big money maker. The point of high school in general is for the betterment of children.
Well, I think the difference, obviously, in how this has all come about is that there was so much money in college athletics. The programs were making so much money through a variety of ways, and then it got to the point where the star quarterback couldn't even make a dime off the jersey that the school was selling. So
right.
I think it was legitimate. I think it was probably a long time coming for the college athletes.
Correct.
But high school, it's a different animal simply for the fact that the schools are not out making tons of money off these kids. A lot of these schools, like the one school here in our community, Hermitage, Hickory, they just raised their taxes. So from the school's perspective, they're not making money off the kids.
Nor should they.
Just breaking even.
Nor should they.
Correct. And but on the other side, I think I do see a possibility, and I'm in the sales aspect of sports, high school sports. So I have a lot of customers in our community, and I do see some businesses that are targeting teens, the Chipotles, the ice cream shops, the cell phone stores, that maybe would go out and try to use a popular team or a successful team to support their business through their social media platforms, and every one of them gets a $50 gift card a month if they. Okay. So I think there's some possibilities of this coming down locally, but I would agree it's not going to come down like we've seen at the college level where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And I also think the other add-on there is, and I think to some point you could, this is specifically for the entrepreneur, the company level in terms of NIL deals. A lot of what it has become has not been return on investment. In terms of their actual return on investment is the success in your high school or college program. It's not actually for the benefit of their business.
Well, that's true. And I think, the gentleman you're talking about from Miami University, he's a big supporter. He's in most cases donating that type of money to the school anyways, to help support the school through a variety of ways. And all he's doing now is funneling that money to the kids directly. And I think that's a big difference. there's going to be people out there that want to have their schools succeed. You know, I gave the analogy of, you know, would there be a big business in Philadelphia that would want to support a top high school basketball program in Philadelphia that maybe has some high-profile kids going Division I, and they support them through a variety of ways. It could be unlimited Uber rides, or it could be a rental car. I don't know, but I think we shouldn't downplay it. I do believe there will be opportunities. Businesses are looking for ways to get through the clutter in a lot of different avenues, and social media is huge. So I think we will see it. The big question to me is, guys, is how will it be policed if the PIAA is not doing it, the schools are not involved? There's already a bunch of cases at the college level that these are private contracts between a business and a student athlete. It's not legal they don't have to be forced to release the information. So who's going to police it? So there's so many avenues that we can take down this path. Ultimately, I don't know if it's good, but we'll find out probably in 2 months or 3 months if the PIAA officially approves it.
Bob Greenburg joining us on the line. Matt Bortner filling in for Jason Lord. I'm Zach Seyko here on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. Bob, before we let you go, one final question that Jason wanted to ask, since he's not in studio today. Does something like NIL flatten that public versus private school curve at all across the sports? Could that factor in any sort of way?
Well, the interesting thing, as you bring that up, is because it's I'm located right on the Ohio border, and Ohio turned down NILs about 6 months ago, which is one reason why I was surprised the PIAA is going down this path. But I've already heard that there could be some potential Ohio, standout athletes that might consider coming over to PA to be able to get into the NIL game. So could it affect transfers? Yes. Will it affect some schools? Yes, I really do believe that. And you're going to see, I promise you, you're going to see some really innovative businesses out there that will want kids to come to their specific school, and they will pay them off one way or another. It may not be a lot, but it'll pay them off somewhere that'll make it attractive.
Right. $5,000 or so, I'm just throwing out a number. $5,000, $10,000 is more than $0 and 0 cents. So if somebody has an alma mater that they want to build up a football team, or I just see a lot of exploitation and things that we're seeing at the college level, getting now down truly to something that's supposed to be a little more heartfelt.
I agree. And I'm torn about it. I think kids should be given the opportunity to make money, but I also don't think we've reached that level yet at the high school stage. I think this is. I think they've crossed the line, but I don't know if they'll ever be able to get back behind the line at this stage.
Bob Greenburg joining us here on PA Prep Sports Breakdown. Bob, thanks so much for your time, for your insight, and I hope that we can follow up this conversation in the very near future.
No problem, guys. Appreciate joining Zach and Matt. Keep up the good work.